Hello everybody and welcome to another Beyond All Reason video. Today we have a 1v1 on the map, a cold place between Sashkorin and Modulo. Right here we're seeing Sashkorin, and this cold place map is something we've seen a few times now. We can see Sashkorin starting off with bots, and as we zoom on out of the map, you can see on this map there's a big triangle section of water with no metal points on it at all. So both players are going to focus going down either one of these two lanes. As we look at the southern lane here, as it goes along the bottom, there are plenty of metal points. And the big thing of note is along the edge of the map, there is a big section of mountains which blocks radar and vehicles. So only bots can traverse through there, and it's quite easy to get units through. Move on to, this is the mirror spot of where blue player is positioned with a Geo on the corner position, but we see up here Modulo positioned in a slightly different start position, up by 2 metal points. And Modulo's idea is that he is going to push this way and contest this most northern point of the triangle past the 2 penguins, while there is another geo point up here. It's quite a lot of metal points around there. As you can see, there's 5 with an additional 3 either side. So it's a very highly contentious location. Now with that out of the way, let's crack over to the normal camera so that you get a bit of an idea of what's going on. So, as we move across, neither player doing any early harass here. Modulo staying back and just build up 2 comms so far, and then getting grunts out. Modulo's comm assisting the factory here. And on the other end, Sashkorin also going bots here and also heavily investing into comms in this early stage. 4 comms already out by minute 2. And Tidal could be an option for energy here, but with wind lowest of 10 and a max of 25, to invest in something that can go into the water to build those tidals is a bit of a waste, really. And you're not really going to be able to defend them, although saying that, the chances of them getting attacked are also less likely. Now, as we zoom on out, we can see some of the ticks are making their way across the map. Along the bottom, we've got 2 ticks and then another single one going along the top. These ticks that are around in Sashkorin space seeming like they're planning to be used for somewhat defensive measures. Both players with a radar up, but the grunts will make short work of any ticks that happen to make their way past. Now, we do sometimes see transition over to vehicles on this map. You do give up the ability to use that mountainous terrain, but it's still something to consider. Being the fact that you're able to push down the lanes a bit quicker. We do see that more often when a player is positioned here and where Sash is, because basically everyone focused on going head to head down here, and then the top is a bit more of an afterthought. Both players keeping their commanders in base, using the build power to assist. Now Modulo is yet to build a construction turret, meaning that one of his cons is sat in base helping push it out, whereas Sashkorin, you see with a construction turret already, able to scale his E up quicker. Both players though fairly even when it comes to energy and metal a second. Not really much in it at this point in the game. What we may see though is the first actual value gotten here, as these guys are going to basically clash heads at the exact same time. Looks like all they're going to manage to get will be a radar. They may manage to pick up this metal extractor on the left-hand side. Saying that, though, a metal extractor was destroyed by a tick, or more likely the metal extractor destroyed a tick. Ooh, losing another metal extractor. Modulo to try and kill a tick and does not succeed. Meanwhile, along the bottom, grunts caught out, and a sizable pawn force here of 8 pawns already at the bottom. Bear in mind, radar coverage is extremely lacking. And one con does get picked up by Modulo. Not only that, but its grunts are pretty high health. 1 low health as opposed to 2 low health, 1 half health. But this pawn force getting surrounded now. Although they look like they're going to be able to break through here and pick up the con. Breaking even now with that, but a lot of metal extractors of Modulo are about to get destroyed here. One's already gone, second one going now. And this was a successful run by for Sashkorin, sorry. Be unable to get any additional value, but still that's quite a bit to worry about. Modulo needing to get some of these cons moving now. They've been sat assisting the factory for quite a bit. His energy is running low whilst he's building this construction turret. Also, you can see here that these three need recapping. He's just sent someone to do that now. Although he is getting very strong control of this north section, the Geo does give him the ability to build a Cerberus. If he does end up having a fight up on this top area, that will kind of settle the fight up here, make it extremely difficult for someone to push in. Now, as we select radar, you'll see what I mean by it's hard to see. So, technically at the moment, units can make their way along here and won't get spotted until basically there. That's when they'll get spotted, but they'll only be on the radar for like half of a second whilst they then move across like that. And then they're already across basically into the back lines of Modulo. Modulo did some unit damage there, but realistically, leaving the reclaim field on his opponent's side of the map is not going to do him too many favors. 500 metal now sat there, ready to be eaten by Sashkorin or resurrected. Maybe the case. No, he's just resurrecting the con. Now, realistically, Modulo needs to get some vision down on this bottom side. He keeps having a few units just creep by him every now and again. And another expanding con caught out though, as well as 2 metal extractors. That's quite a big loss. It's going to take a little while to get some units back down there. These grunts go in single file though into an LLT as well as pawns. Vehicle transition though made by Sashkorin here, just as we mentioned earlier on. It'll be interesting to see if Modulo follows suit or if he continues on with the bot push. It does give him more ability to path over the hills and make good use of them. Realistically, that's all this map is about. Blitzes will be able to close range with the grunts, and as well with the pawn update recently, pawns are able to catch grunts as well. Managing to get another con. That's 3 cons now killed by Modulo. And Modulo surprisingly holding the reclaim field for now. Not that it's going to matter, as a couple of guys managed to make their way round, catching off and another construction bot. Those bots are on the field now for Modulo as well, so that will help somewhat. Losing these metal extractors consistently though, causing him some problems, and as now Modulo runs off on the southern side into the field, into the hills rather, he does open up a dangerous position here for these blitzes to make a push round. Shurikens now out for Modulo, will give him a bit of time. You can see because of that, Sashkorin also going air as well in an attempt to kill those shurikens. He has given his hand away on the shurikens, also leaving the stuff behind. No one ever killed them, and now they're able to get 3 windmills. Oh, actually, surprisingly, they managed to kill 4. Make that 5 windmills. That's pretty okay for 3 pawns that you expected to lose. Meanwhile, on the bottom, these blitzes are still pushing strong along the bottom, and Modulo really needs something to kind of change that. Modulo has been consistently losing metal extractors, whereas Sashkorin here has been defending relatively well. Not really losing anything. You can see here that these guys are just about to walk into a line of death. And they're going to get killed before they're able to do anything. Well, this line of blitzes, as we were mentioning, come along the bottom, making their way pretty far. A res constructor gets killed again. And the shurikens are about to get taken out by the fighters here. Oh, but enough fighters by Modulo to distract them. And the air superiority goes to Modulo at this point. Sashkorin, though, currently sat on 1.7k of metal. Unable to use it as he has a severe shortfall of energy. Question is, will Modulo be able to make any use of that? A large amount of units killed on the north side at some point we just missed. Oh, please don't lose all three just to this one guy. Does lose one, but it could have been a lot worse. Modulo with full control of the reclaim field to the north, or the metal extractor section to the north. Looks like he will get the reclaim field that's left here as well. Gucci pinging a very strong push by some blitzes here, managing to make it past the army of Modulo. Shurikens will help here, but they're still going to be able to push through again. Maybe be able to pick up a single metal extractor, but not quite as much value as you were expecting for that push. Not only that, but with resbots out already, all of those are just going to get resurrected and sent back. Now, how much is Modulo going to be able to do with these forces? Realistically, I don't think they're going to get very far. There's a lot of reclaim to be had down here as well. 500. Modulo attempts to run away, but realistically, these blitzes are a lot quicker than Modulo's grunts. They are going to be able to close down and just take them out one by one. Oh, but not chasing. Modulo manages to escape with 7 of his grunts left intact. This LLT somehow managing to shoot well outside of its range. Purely at the radar dots. And this twin guard with just slightly more range is enough to actually take out 2 LLTs here being built right on the edge. Will also help against the blitzes and stuff that are making their way in. Meanwhile, on the bottom, blitzes and incisors also now out. You can see Modulo completely removing the resbot lab. He does need to be careful now, though, with his resbots. Oh, wow, this is surprising. Sashkorin with a move to the sea. Building a couple of these skaters in order to try and defend against shurikens. And the surprising use of a couple of destroyers here. They've got quite a long range. They may be able to bombard quite a few of the edge mexes. But that does eat into a lot of metal. Navy is very, very expensive. Question is, this is a substantial chunk of forces here, and yet he's not going in. And the resbots will get caught out. Yep, and they're the last of the resbots. There is an aircon flying around, but realistically not really going to get too much. Surprising, still no radar on the southern side here. And the twin guard did take out the LLTs, but it looks like the cons died afterward. Now with beamers going up, it's going to be somewhat difficult to push through on this north side. The constructor did get killed, and the beamer looks like it's going to go down. Oh no, Modulo not continuing on and leaves the beamer left alive. Now decides to turn around, run back, but this boat here, able to get 4 metal extractors. That one looks like 5 metal extractors, just by being sat off the shore. And Modulo instead deciding to go to Tech 2 here. To be fair, Banisher would deal with those boats quite well. And that was not expected at all. Ooh. Sashkorin reclaiming the lab after he gets this construction ship up, and then going into hovers. And he's just going to go straight over the water, straight over to the Modulo's base. Well, I can't say I see that very often. Oh, he's built the lab, built on, and then not doing anything with it. And instead going Tech 2. Okay, that's not what I was expecting to see. There are the incisors up here making a little headway, managing to get a couple of metal extractors. Janices and Stouts, as well as a couple of Whistlers, are spotted around now. Oh, that's Janus shot. Meanwhile, at the bottom, Blitz is making a big push against the Grunts and Incisors along the bottom. Finally, we see main battle tanks coming out from Modulo here. There's still nothing really to deal with these tanks. These boats, rather. Sashkorin is aware, though, that his opponent is Tech 2. He's spotted the lab. And as we look at numbers, very close here. Not much difference between the two players. Going to be who can scale up to Tech 2 quicker at this point. Technically, everything is advantage Modulo at this very second, but Sashkorin has technically made more metal overall so far. Oh, and those Grunts just getting absolutely destroyed. So much reclaim to be had. 1.7k reclaim along the bottom side. Consoles rushing out now to get as much reclaim as possible. And now Janus is making a push along the north side. Going to be somewhat difficult for Modulo to deal with that right now. He's sending everything to the bottom side. What are we looking at? There's nothing there, Coochie. So it seems like he has decided to go for titles here. With control of the sea, being able to build so much energy and energy converters on the sea, although it is pretty close to your base, it's quite a lot. And to be fair, with that skater gone, the vision of the boat here, the destroyer, is not quite as good. Banisher, though, being used to try and take out this destroyer here, as well as metal being wasted on a persecutor. Single Tiger, though, making good work along the north side. Stopping that push pretty well. And everyone's just kind of taking a sec to eco up, it seems. No one really making a move. Most of that stuff was eaten up by the console, though, leaving metal produced substantially in the favor of Sashkorin. Currently with 5k metal advantage. Modulo still with not enough forces along the bottom here. And now with Jaguars following up just behind. Bear in mind, these are slightly nerfed Jaguars from what they were in the past. That was not a good trade, though, for Sashkorin there. Moved his forces a little bit too close. Tech 2 units will push the north now, though, so Sashkorin does need to start sending some forces up there. And we can see he has transitioned over to Bulls. Modulo slowly rebuilding all of his metal extractors. He has missed a lot of them, though. There, and there. All missed. A Tech 1 bombing run. We're looking at 14 bombers right now. I'm not sure if it's going to get through that fighter screen. He needs to fly very low. Radar will spot it quite a long time off, and although it would be nice to see them do something, I honestly think they're just going to get killed by the fighters here. The lack of radar on Modulo has given these Jaguars a chance to run by, and they are not going to get spotted until they basically run into Modulo's commander here. These are also not armed metal extractors. Modulo really needs more radar. His vision is extremely limited near his base. Not only that, but you see him now having to try and deal with assault frigate and a single destroyer just off the edge, and this is going to be a lot of build power to lose. Modulo is nearby, not going for a D-gun though. And that is a lot of build power to lose. We're talking about 4 construction bots, 2 Tech 2, and 2 construction vehicles. A lot of build power to lose. Modulo now noticing a bit too late, losing all of the build power. Bombers make their way in. Surprisingly managed to make it to the base. Bombing a mixture of wings here, but still quite a lot left alive. Does manage to get some energy converters, but realistically not that big a deal. But although Modulo did lose all of that build power, this is a big chunk of units heading down on the north side. And this is a lot of Tech 2. We're seeing 5 Tigers here, 4 Banishers against 5 Bulls. No radar jammers coming from with Modulo's forces though. Modulo having a lot of metal banked up right now as well. Still anyone's game. Modulo really needs to start spending his metal though. Building up an anti-nuke, which is probably a good idea. The opponent already has a fusion though, so bombing that wins really didn't impact that much. Neither player going for the Geo though. Probably do with maybe a flak in there as well to deal with the which would have helped deal with the seaplane gunships. And here they go. Or are they just lining up? They're just lining up. At the bottom, making a little bit of a push through with some Tech 1 units. Modulo still with a severe lack of any form of radar coverage along the bottom side. Still. Tech 1 has now made it to the front line. They will manage to catch a good group. But this is the more important fight here as the seaplane gunships make their way in, focusing down the Banishers. The Banishers have fired their volleys. Also not targeting the air. It does only take like a single rocket from a Banisher almost to kill. Ooh, that's a big bit of damage. Banishers managed to survive though. And the Tigers are just sitting there. They have an open path right into the base. Tech 1 manages to make it through along the bottom though. Very close to that build power. Just not enough to make it there. But instead, Modulo turning around with his Tigers. Oh, he had such an open path there to do so much damage. Instead, turning around. That was a unexpected push well, an unexpected fallback there. I expected him to just keep going, but no. Now with starlights coming up in the background, it's going to be harder for those banishers to get value. Tech 2 air coming out from Modulo. Predominantly fighters as well. Some flak also on its way out. Modulo finally spending all of that metal that he was holding on to. Only just now starting to rebuild the metal extractors on the front though. Oh, and the Tigers are so far away from the Banishers, they're not going to get any help, and losing 3 Tigers literally just in a quick turnaround. Oh, a Tech 2 radar going up. You don't see those very often. These Tigers are just being whittled down very quickly. Huge amount of tick spam coming out from Sashkorin along the bottom side here. Seeing a tick every 2 seconds, 1 second? Yeah, about every 2 seconds. And the question is, what does Modulo have to stop that? Armed metal extractor going up. It's not going to be built anytime soon though. And this is just going to wash over Modulo's base, building a bunch of guards, LLTs up where they can. Oh, the Sashkorin not paying attention to them. And these gunships actually managed to destroy half of them before they even got close. Aiming for the Tech 2 con, manages to get it. Just dodging around everything here with the attempt to cause friendly fire damage. And that armed metal extractor now will get finished off by the aircon, but that's going to be pretty slow. Same on the north side here. Tick spam causing some problems for Modulo's Banisher forces. It's amazing to think that just some ticks is enough to push a Tech 2 army all the way back into cover of LLTs. Cortex does struggle to deal with ticks though. We're probably going to see salamanders coming out, or maybe some some people use Zars. We can see though the metal difference is starting to scale up. Sashkorin able to scale his Tech 2 a lot better. And here comes the air fight. A lot more Tech 1 fighters than there are Tech 2. And it doesn't look like there's anywhere near enough Tech 2 fighters to deal with this. Sashkorin just slowly pushing up on this north side. The bottom, he doesn't really have much there, but now with air gone, the seaplane gunships will mop up this force here along the bottom. These Tigers aren't even able to deal with the tick spam coming in, let alone the seaplane gunships. And then on top of that, you have the starlights that are going to start whittling down the Tigers as well. This is not looking good for Modulo. What is his plan? Still only salamanders. To be fair, the salamanders he could use to just go whoop right into the base of Sashkorin. Oh, and that is what he's doing. Salamanders making their way across the water. Sashkorin with no radar, or sonar rather, so he's not going to see them. He's also not going to know they're there unless his commander sees them. Question is how much value will 5 salamanders do? Probably not as much as he'd hope. Still tempting to go for gunships here, even though he's losing ground and losing fighter strength. No flaks yet from Sashkorin also not using these to target the starlights. Sashkorin did spot the salamanders. NLT's going up very quickly here, as well as beamers. And these salamanders are not really going to get anything. Modulo realizes that, instantly turns them around, attempts to go up from a different area, but still not really going to do much. Oh, but the gunships did manage to take out the whole army on the north. And maybe those salamanders were but a distraction. Tiger, if that tiger move there would get so much value. But no, unfortunately not. Salamanders just currently sat underneath the energy converters, obviously unable to do anything. And there we see plunk down of tech-free marauders being planned. They can run straight across the map. No tech-free planned yet from Modulo, but seaplanes instead, which is a interesting choice. Salamanders have made a big push onto land, but again, not able to get anything. Jaguars pushed them right off. Oh, a single salamander did manage to make it on. But look how long it's taken to kill that metal extractor. One eternity later. Oh, he did get it before he got killed. An armed metal extractor at the bottom here with almost 40 kills. Only one of them though. This could be anyone's game. The tech-free coming out though will prove difficult for Modulo to deal with. Also we see Tech 2C being planned as well. To be fair, a flagship or a battleship would cause massive problems for Modulo here. A minute. Is there an anti-nuke? There is an anti-nuke, okay. Ah, the salamanders finally found a hole. Although, considering there's scattered windmills around, getting as much as he had hoped for, but they're not dead yet. You can see a lack of units coming out from Sashkorin at the moment, purely down to the fact that he's investing everything into tech-free. And that is something that Modulo is not aware of. Nice chaining there. The Jackie was desperately trying to chase down these salamanders. Salamanders can escape into their hill to be saved for a later date. And the Banishers slowly pushing. It looks like Sashkorin may plan to use these to take out the Banishers instead. And there is a Modulo's commander also in a bit of a risky spot there. And the Marauders have made landfall. Oh, these Banishers do manage to take out one. Salamander's doing a fairly decent job against the ticks here. He will need to use set target if he wants to focus on the Marauders. But Modulo now aware that there is tech-free in play in the game. Not only that, but we see the first battleship coming out from Sashkorin. And the question is... oh, the Salamanders are making their way back in to get some sneaky damage. There are some pitfalls up and around still. Torpedo bombers already coming out, but these Marauders are about to make landfall for a second time. No Tech 2 units left to defend. Marauders now spotted just as the scouts come out. Torpedo bombers are not going to be there in time. And this may be difficult for Modulo to defend. They have been spread out across the entire front of Modulo. It looks like his core base may be okay. But focusing on the battleship instead of the Marauders in his back line, the battleship gets killed. Marauders, though, still going strong along the back. 2 of them left. Gunships are making their way in now to try and stop them. But you got to remember, Marauders do have some small AA. But not being microed anymore, the Marauders get taken out. And a second battleship, or third battleship, on its way across. Bottom line of the map still looking a bit weak here. Sashkorin able to find another hole. The thing is, there's so many gunships there that if he uses them to defend, he's going to be fine. This force on the north, though, not really getting as much value as it could be getting right now. These vanguards make their way up. It's going to be pretty hard for them to continue to get more. Oh, but the torpedo, if it hits that chain, that would be amazing. Battleship has made it to the other side, but the gunship's being held back, surprisingly. Lost Deadman now making a bit of a push in. A lot of these units are pretty heavily damaged here. Banishers using most of their shots, though, on useless windmills. And now as the tick spam makes its way forward, Marauder basically one-tapped almost. No salamanders left, though. And now the big explosions of the vanguards will actually finish off this army, I think, up here. Oh, yes, massive explosions. All the banishers destroyed, leaving just ticks left. Oh, so actually one banisher does somehow manage to survive, but not for long. These tigers, though, are just going to sit there, claim some windmills. Not really too much to worry about. No tech free still from Modulo. Also, Modulo still not killing those battleships. He's just F-moved them across the map. I think this is a big mistake by Modulo here. These 10 gunships are now just going to get taken out with no value whatsoever. He's going to desperately try to save them against the seaplane fighters here, but that was a big mistake by Modulo. He does manage to get the battleships killed, but how much metal is sat there? 2K is there, 5K there. Like, there's a lot of reclaims to be had here. The issue is that Modulo is not really able to rebuild much. See, as I was just saying, like, Sashkorin is pushed really far forward with his cons, just slowly pushing forward and retaking stuff. North side, not so much. That's the side that's been super heavily pressured. Gunship's actually coming in for another attack along the north. This is not what I was expecting. Did he end up seeing? Nothing, really. This could still be either player right now. These AAs are going to cause problems for Modulo. His main way of dealing with the tech-free and the dealing with the battleships is by air. Saying that, though, no battleship currently planned, and actually rebuilding a Tech 2 lab here. Be interested in what his plan is. Maybe platypuses? They're a pain in the butt to deal with. And still just a fairly close game here. Neither player went for nukes, of course. And the Razorback also does fairly well versus gunships. See him taking them out pretty quickly here. And those are Tech 2 gunships as well. Sashkorin bringing his air across, but doesn't even need to, as all of the gunships already dead. And it does look like either the Salamander play is to deal with the spam, or it's to deal with going under the water again. I don't quite know how much value he's going to get from that. Look how much energy he's actually getting from windmills. 6,000 energy being gotten for Sashkorin by windmills, which is the majority actually of his energy. He's only got a single fusion. Whereas on the other side here, you see 5,000 energy by Modulo here, just from windmills. Both players only with a single fusion here. Even by going into Tech 3, it's still with a single fusion, just down to how much energy there is on the map with all of those winds. Now, surprising we're not seeing Modulo going to quickly try and reclaim all of these boats. Instead, kind of having to leave them there. Same with all on the bottom. There's a lot of reclaim to be had. 2k metal there, plus the other thousands that are in the water. More just the same tigers and banishers. The tick spam is just proving to be effective versus these tigers actually spreading out their shots in a line there and attempt to deal with tick spam. But with Tech 3 making it splash, Razorbacks plus artillery support behind. Pretty much all the tigers are already dead. Oof. That's pretty harsh. Modulo changing his mind here, reclaiming Tech 3, even though it was so close to being finished. What is his plan? Run spam perhaps? Which is an interesting choice. It does seem that's the case. He's got metal sat here. He's just choosing not to reclaim it. Even there's a banisher there. Marauder, 2 more marauders. Metal extractors. He's just not reclaiming it and instead having to do something to deal with all these ticks. He's hoping that the banisher tiger play will win out from in the end. But a flagship has been detected. And the Salamander's just going to get absolutely annihilated here, going into the water surrounded by cruisers. This was not the play, Modulo. All this is going to do is draw them off the coast, which I guess means that the torpedo bombers will be able to do something, but these torpedo bombers not being micro, just being F-moved. And surprisingly, these Salamanders actually managing to outpace the cruisers. The Razorbacks now pushing in on the north side. I think this is it for Modulo. He's being forced into a box. The push of Razorbacks combined with Vanguards along the top just being enough to cause Modulo lots and lots of problems. Horn spam to the north and south in the attempt to deal with some of these ticks, but Razorback managing to make it in. Question is how much are these Salamanders going to be able to do? Did he see? He has seen the flagship. That group of Salamanders instantly destroyed. This side, though, does manage to get a big chunk of build power and some energy converters. It's okay, but realistically not great. This one Razorback still making his way around the backside, just insta-popping all of these windmills. Having a field day back there. Over almost 100 kills. And yeah, Modulo just doesn't have anything really to deal with this. Vanguards are just still popping his tigers at range. The flagship has now arrived, and Modulo calling the GG.
Has self-destructed.
Wow, that was close. Sashkorin's move to Tech 3 almost got him killed there, as Modulo was able to push such a long way down before Sashkorin actually managed to get any of that Tech 3 out. If it was just slightly more delayed, or if tick spam wasn't as annoying as it is, Modulo could have quite easily had that game. Somewhat surprising that with so much tick spam, no one seems to invest in Junos. Why do you think no one likes Junos? Or what do you think Modulo could have done better? Let me know in the comments. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.